And we're rolling, baby, with the Long Balls Golf Podcast. Dr. Jake Berman here, the originator, the founder of the Berman Method of Golf Performance, where we specialize in helping golfers move better so they can hit the ball further and improve consistency. Consistency is a funny thing, right? It's almost like anybody can hit a good shot every 20 or 30 shots, but being able to hit it over and over again, that's really what is the catalyst behind it all. And the extremely close correlation between being able to move better, being able to move more efficiently, and being able to strike the ball more consistently, it's undeniable. The better you move, the more consistent you can be. And that doesn't mean the more flexible you are, the more mobile you are. It means the more repeatable you are. The more you can reproduce the same swing over and over again, that's how you get consistency. It's that simple. There's a reason why Bubba Watson was so successful. He's got one of the most unorthodox technical swings of this modern era. Yet he's been able to consistently win over the years because he's able to reproduce it over and over again versus some of the other players that have one of the most beautiful swings on the tour. They're able to reproduce it and they're not able to consistently win over and over again. So obviously there's a lot of things that go into it. But in general, if you can move better, you can hit the ball further and strike the ball more consistently. My definition of moving better is being able to control the motion that you have available. So let's do a real quick visual. Obviously, this is an auditory thing right now, so visualize this real quick. Visualize 2 empty gallons of water. 2 empty gallon bottles of water. 1 gallon on your right, that's your flexibility gallon. So the more water you have in that gallon of water or that gallon jug, the more flexible you are. In the gallon on the left side, that is your stability gallon. So the more water you have in that gallon, the more stable you are, the more strength you have within that range of motion. Now, the thing that you have to understand is you want to have equal volumes of water in both gallons. So if you've got 50% water in the right gallon jug, the flexibility gallon jug, meaning that you're 50% flexible, these are very high level basic numbers right now. So just bear with me. If you're 50% flexible, you want to have 50% strength in the other jug. The problem occurs with somebody that goes to yoga 38 times a day. They're extremely flexible. They can put their legs around their head and wrap themselves into a pretzel. They're extremely flexible. So their gallon of water that represents flexibility will be overflowing. It will be filled to the top, overflowing. But when we go and look at their strength gallon, what I've seen in my career over and over again is that the strength gallon is rarely better than 25% within that excessive range of motion. That is what is so important, is as you increase your range of motion, you must increase your strength within that range of motion. You have to control that range of motion. You have to train your brain how to use your muscles in this newfound range of motion, or you'll never keep it. That's why you can stretch every single day, and you're like, yeah, I feel better by the time I'm done stretching, and then the next day, you're tight again. And you have to stretch over and over again. And it's this never-ending circle of just stretching and stretching and stretching every single day just to maintain, versus what you should be doing is once you're done stretching, immediately strengthen the muscles within that new range of motion, and then you are way more likely to keep it. So, anyways, that was a long rant or intro on what I actually wanted to talk about today, which is the biggest differences in the easiest way to improve your game if you're under the age of 50 or you're over the age of the 50. It is two very, very different um, um, things. It's two very different things. Focuses. Sorry, wow, I was spacing out there. Two completely different focuses. If you're under the age of 50, what I found over the years working with thousands of golfers and spending tons and tons of time in the research department, if you're under the age of 50, in general, the lowest hanging fruit is working on your stability. How stable are you specifically at the transition of the backswing to the downswing? How much core activation do you have? How well did you load your right leg or your trail leg throughout the entirety of the backswing? How stable are you when you go to create that violent transition from backswing to downswing? Focusing on that is by far the lowest hanging fruit for the vast majority of amateur golfers under the age of 50. That is very, very different from what the lowest hanging fruit is for golfers over the age of 50 because the body moves differently. This is what the Berman method of golf performance was completely built over, was golfers over the age of 50, definitely over the age of 60, move differently than golfers in their 20s and 30s. There's no secret to that. Yet there was never any program designed around the biomechanic aspect focusing on helping aging golfers. So it's like, let's work on technique, let's work on swing path, let's work on increasing shoulder turn and increasing club head speed. It's like, what? Bob is 72 years old. His body does not move like Jason's, who's 32 years old. His body, they don't move the same. And the lowest hanging fruit, 9.9 times out of 10 for golfers over the age of 60, is working on flexibility, specifically of the thoracic spine. That is your middle back. It's where your shoulder blades are, where your spine is, where your shoulder blades are, that general area of your spine. That's your thoracic spine. So the area above it is your cervical spine. That's your neck. The area below your thoracic spine is your lumbar spine. That's your low back. I'm talking about the spine right in the middle. When you focus on improving your flexibility of your thoracic spine, it exponentially increases your ability to perform the backswing, specifically the backswing, more efficiently. We've already identified that as you get older, you, in general, become less flexible than you were when you're younger. That is a very high level in general statement. In general, as you get older, you become less flexible than you were when you're younger. When you become less flexible, you attempt to keep the same range of motion of your backswing throughout the entirety, meaning that if you got to a certain point of your backswing, a certain fullness of your backswing your whole entire life, as you get older and you start to lose range of motion, you keep trying to put the club in the same position that you did when you were in your 20s and 30s. But because you're losing flexibility in very specific areas of your body, you're going to compensate to get that club to that spot. Everybody, not always, everybody, the majority of the time, vastly underestimates how important it is to have thoracic mobility. And the number one killer of thoracic mobility is chronic sitting. the number one thing that we Americans do throughout the entirety of our life is sit more than we stand. Think about it. I haven't talked about this in a while. You may think that you're very active. Reality is you're underestimating how much time you're actually sitting. We get up out of bed, we brush our teeth, we get ready, we sit down to eat breakfast. We get up, we walk to the car, and we sit in the car and drive to work. We get out of the car, we walk inside to work, we sit at work. Lunchtime rolls around, we stand up, we walk to the kitchen, we get some food, and we sit to eat the food. We get up and we go back to the office and we sit to finish the rest of the day. We get up at the end of the day, walk to the car, and we sit in the car to drive home. Get home, get out of the car, go inside, make dinner, sit to eat dinner. Do the dishes, wind down for the night, get on the couch and sit to watch TV. And then go to bed and do it all over again. What I just did right there was describe the vast majority of Americans' everyday life. So when you sit more than you stand, in general, when you sit more than you stand, the first thing that happens is your thoracic mobility goes away because you start slouching, you start hunching your back. As soon as you hunch your back, even just a hair, your chest drops just a hair and you start slouching your back just a hair, you immediately lock the vertebrae, the bones in your thoracic spine, so they can no longer move the way that they need to move to give you rotation. This should be no secret too. The rotation in the golf swing should come from your hip joints and your thoracic spine. That's where rotation should occur. It should not occur from your lumbar spine or your shoulders, right? All the rotation should occur from your hips and your thoracic spine. So when you start to chronically slouch, and I'm not talking, it doesn't have to be exaggerated. It doesn't have to be like what you're envisioning. I don't look like that slumped over old man that's staring at the ground when he's walking. I'm talking even just a little bit. And it completely changes the amount of rotation that you can get from your thoracic spine, meaning you lose it. So if you lose it, but you're still trying to put the club in the same place at the top of the backswing, you're going to get it from somewhere else. And chances are you're going to get it from someplace in the body that it was not meant to rotate, not meant to be a significant part of the golf swing. It's supposed to be an accessory in the golf swing. And that is where the downward spiral occurs. That's when we start messing around with ball contact and it starts going, either we're sculling it, we're chunking it, we're slicing it, shanking it, all these things where we're not getting consistent contact because you're not getting to the same exact place in the top of the backswing every single time. And even if you are getting to the same exact place in the top of the backswing every single time, you're not getting there with the right body movement, which means that you're going to have to manipulate something in attempt to get back to the golf ball. That's biomechanics 101. Biomechanics is simply how the body moves. You want the body to move more efficiently, right? There's a reason why we walk from golf shot to golf shot, or we walk from the golf cart to the tee box on our legs. We don't walk on our arms, right? The reason is because our legs are more efficient at moving our body weight from point A to point B than our arms are. Yet for whatever reason, we think that we should be using our arms and our hands to get the club head going as fast as possible to hit the little projectile and get it to go in the right direction. It just doesn't make sense on paper. And again, this has been my argument from day one as far as how am I different from everybody else in this golf world. It's because I am revolving my interventions around science. I'm revolving my interventions around the laws of physics, which means it either is or it isn't. It is black and white. It either works or it doesn't work, which is the exact opposite of everything you see in the YouTube world, on the golf world, on golf.com. I'm sitting here watching the Golf Channel. We played with one of my buddies last weekend, and we went to the 19th hole, and we're watching the Golf Channel, and it's that older guy and that younger smoking hot blonde that they're always working together. I forget their names, but you know exactly who I'm talking about just by that description. And some of the things that they were talking about to improve the golf game, improve distance, improve consistency, I'm going, wow, there is 0% chance that is going to work for the majority of people who try it. Zero. It's just not going to happen. I mean, conceptually, it made perfect sense. And of course, they could execute it. They could execute it perfectly. Problem is, it is never going to work for the majority of the people that are watching it, because the majority of the people watching that show are struggling to break 100. And I've said this time and time again. You say you break 100, you're really not breaking 100. How many times have you moved your ball out of a divot? How many times have you used the foot wedge or the hand wedge? How many times have you taken a mulligan? How many times did you move your ball just a hair because there was a root in the way? You know, the reality is you're not breaking 100, because in reality, the vast majority of American amateur golfers can't legitimately break 100. That's a fact. That's an absolute fact. So you're over here saying that you're a 15 handicap, but in tournament conditions, oh, by the way, how many times are you saying, yeah, that putt's good, I don't have to make that one? And we just saw Rory freaking blow it twice, right? A couple of weeks ago, blew it twice, 2 3-foot putts, blew them, completely whiffed them. And I think the stat was 496 3-foot putts in a row he made. And then he misses 2 in the same round when he was supposed to win the freaking tournament. Like, come on. You're not that good. You're not breaking 100 legitimately. And if you are, I'm glad. I'm happy for you. This is still very, very relevant to you, though, because everything that I'm preaching here, everything that I'm screaming, it's laws of physics. It's not a technical thing. It either works or it doesn't work. It works 100% of the time, because when you use more muscles, you generate more power. When you generate more power, then you deliver that power into the stationary object, the golf ball. Once that power is transferred into the stationary object, the golf ball, it goes further. It is a law of physics. It is that simple. It has nothing to do with this technical jargon that you're seeing on the Golf Channel. Nothing to do with what these 20 and 30-year-old kids on YouTube are doing. And the stuff is great. Don't get me wrong. It's great if you're practicing 15, 20, 30 hours a week, if your body's physically capable of doing it, if you're athletic enough to do it. Again, the brutal reality is the vast majority of golfers practice less than 1 hour a week. And their definition of practice is they go to the driving range early before their tee time. That is not legitimate practice. It's not. You're not going to get better with that strategy. So if you're not going to get better, and you're not going to get better using the strategy you're currently using, the only option you have to get better is to avoid the definition of insanity and try something different. So in summary, if you're over the age of 50, you should be working on your thoracic mobility at least weekly, if not daily, if you legitimately want to improve your golf game. I've got tons and tons of video on my golf channel and on my physical therapy channel. Just go to YouTube and search Berman Physical Therapy or search Berman Golf. Tons of videos on how you can improve your thoracic mobility. My all-time favorite is the 2-finger drill. The 2-finger drill is by far one of the easiest ones and the most practical ones that you can implement anywhere, anytime, anywhere. Doesn't matter what you're doing. It's very simple. Take one finger on your left hand and put it in your belly button. Take one finger on your right hand and put it on your chest. Pull your belly button in as hard as you can and keep breathing. Now keep that belly button in as hard as you can and raise your chest up as high as you possibly can without letting your belly button come out. And that is working on thoracic extension. The more thoracic extension that you can get, the more rotation you'll be able to get from your thoracic spine. Just think about it. Just do it. Just practice it. Try it. Look at all the videos and look at the science behind it. It's not a technique. It is frickin' science. It's physics. It's the laws of physics. So thank you for letting me rant on that one. Don't forget, we've got some exciting things coming out. We've got our membership site getting ready to explode any single minute right now. It's coming really soon. We also got the T-Shot transformation that is doing phenomenal. We've got some new programs that I am very excited about that are coming out. They're little mini programs, little very practical, implementable things that you can do that will really help you simplify this stupid game and make it start working smarter, not harder. Make sure you like and subscribe. Share this episode with somebody else that is working on shoulder turn specifically. The only way to improve your shoulder turn over the age of 60 is to work on your thoracic rotation. I'm sorry. The only way to improve your shoulder turn the correct way is to improve thoracic mobility, thoracic extension. And let me know what your questions are. Let me know what you want to talk about next time. I'm getting some really great feedback from our emails. So email me distance@bermangolf.com. I'm reading everybody's emails. Every chance I get, I'm trying to get you a solid response back. So if you want me to talk about something on the next episode or somewhere soon, email me your questions, distance@bermangolf.com, and I will do my best to make it happen. Thanks again for listening.